In this video, I'm going to go over the homework that you will be doing each week for MRK260. If you take a look at the weekly task list, and it's located in course information, here it is for the semester that I'm recording this video. In the weekly task list, and this will change from semester to semester, so the weekly, don't just ignore the fact which week I'm in, but notice that it says here, watch LinkedIn Learning Collection 1, Internet Basics. And then it says create 2 multiple choice questions. And then you also have to watch LinkedIn Learning Collection 2 and create 2 multiple choice questions. The following week, we have the same thing, Collection 3, Collection 5. Note that the collections may not always be in numerical order. Some weeks you might actually have 3 collections. So this is the homework we would like you to do. You will find the collections. And by the way, normally you will be reminded as to what you need to do. I always post announcements reminding everyone what their homework is and what they should be doing. The LinkedIn Learning Collections can be found in the folder called LinkedIn Learning Collections. So here's Collection 1, Collection 2, Collection 3, Collection 5. They are also linked, at least as far as my class is concerned, I also link them in each weekly folder. So here's the homework for week 1. So in the week 1 folder, here is the homework that you need to do for the following week. So both of these need to be viewed for the following week. And in fact, in week 2, we will be taking up collection 2. So generally the homework is to prepare you for the content the following week. And the due date is before class the following week. When you go to the collection, if you click on the link from Blackboard, you should be authenticated right into LinkedIn Learning, and you will see the videos we're asking you to watch. And these videos are on the topics that either we are doing that week or the next week. So generally the topics are for the following week. So for example, here is a video about Internet Protocol and IP addresses. And I'm not going to play it, but the video will go through and it will go over that type of concept. So here's an example of an IP address in this particular video. And it explains how they work and how things relate and how things communicate on the internet. You'll also find that each of the videos has a transcript. And wherever you happen to be in the video, you can actually click on the different sentences and go to that part of the video if you want as well. So here it says each device on the internet has an address called an IP address. And here's an example here as well. Reading this is great. Watching the video is great. But the second part of your homework is you have to create 2 multiple choice questions, not for each video, but for each collection of videos. So for example, we had this entire collection of videos that you saw here. We need 2 questions. It doesn't matter which videos you get your questions from. You can make up a question from this video or from this video or from this video, and then you can make your second question from this video or from this video. You might create 2 questions from the same video. That's entirely up to you. So as you're watching the videos, as you are going through the process of watching the video, keep in mind, would this make a good question? The second thing is, what constitutes a good question? If it's something that you think you might use in the future, you might hear about in a meeting when you're working at your job, somebody might ask you a question about, that would constitute a piece of content that you should create a question on. Please do not create questions based on dates, times, or the names of people that invented things. Those are not the types of questions that are going to come up in a meeting when you're talking about a website, or when you're talking with a technical person about developing a website or adding to or working on something related to a website or the internet. So if you don't believe that it's something that will ever be useful, don't create a question about it. If it sounds like something, once you've learned about the concept, that might be a good thing to have in the back of your mind, create a question from that. So take some notes, think about think about what the question, how the question would read. And then the next step is to go and actually find the test question surveys in Blackboard. So you've watched the videos, you have idea, maybe you even jotted down a couple of question ideas. The next step then is to go to the test question surveys. Now, in my Blackboard that I'm showing you here, you'll find them under assignments in a folder called test question surveys. You will notice that there is a survey for collection 1, 2, 3, 5, and all of the different collections that you're going to be asked to do. Now, in my courses, I stage them so that they only appear in the weeks that you need to do them. To complete one of these surveys, simply click on the link, click on the continue button, and up comes the actual survey. The instructions on completing the survey are here. So create a fair but challenging multiple choice question based on content in the related LinkedIn Learning collection. So this is the Internet Basics survey. So your questions from the Internet Basics collection should be entered into this particular survey. And when I say a survey, basically there are two questions, question 1 and question 2. The instructions for both are identical. There are the instructions that I've just read to you. Create a challenging but fair question. Keep in mind these questions will likely appear on a test or a quiz. Enter your question in the space provided. So down here, for example, enter your question in the space provided. So there's space for question 1. There's space down here for question 2. I was working on them earlier, so that's why there was content. Make sure that you format your question as shown below. So this is the format we would like you to enter your question into the space using. And my suggestion would be, there's an example question shown right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it. So here's the format we would like you to follow when you enter your question into the box. And we've also given you an example so you can look at the example and understand what you should be putting into this box. I'd actually recommend that you copy the example. So select it. I'm right-clicking and choosing copy. I'll go down here. I'll do Control V to paste it, and I'll remove the formatting. And here is the example question in the submission box. Now what I'm going to put in is my question. So which of the following is an example of an IPv4 address? And then I will put my options in. And then the last, so here's my options. This one is obviously not correct. It's got too many parts to it. This one has the 4 parts, so it looks correct. This is just the first part. That's not correct. This is just 3 parts. It's not correct. So the correct answer then is B. Now, you don't always want to make the correct answer B. I could have, for example, done this 105, and this up here could have looked like this. And in this case, I would say the correct answer is D. So I've formatted my question. And by the way, the question can be as long as you need it to be. So you can just keep typing, the text will wrap. Your answers can be as long as you need them to be. So if this was longer, of course, it would just wrap around to the next line. But make sure that it's on a line by itself. Each of these is on a line by itself, just as has been described up in this area. Once you have created both of your questions, go ahead and save and submit. So it says number 2 is incomplete. So let me just put some information in that box so it doesn't do that. So I'll put the sample in here. Of course, I would modify it with my question, save and submit, and say OK. And when you're done, you could say OK again, and it will show you exactly what you've put in. So there is your submission. And then you can click on OK. So you do that for each of the surveys that have been provided. 2 questions per collection. It's not difficult, but put some effort into creating your questions. Pay close attention when you're watching these video collections and identify things that stand out to you to be a good idea for a multiple choice question. Remember, we do not want true or false questions, and we do not want all of the above questions. There should be 3 answers which are not correct and 1 answer that is correct for each of your submissions. And that's how you do your homework and complete your homework test question survey. Hope that helps.